Greetings, pink skins. Welcome to the latest episode of the Best of All Worlds podcast. I'm proud of that one myself. So, guys, welcome to our sixth episode of the Best of All Worlds show here on the Nerds Roast channel. I'm joined as ever by Gerry Soul. How are you doing, darling?
I am. You just thrown me off there a little bit now by calling me darling. I am doing fine, baby. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Toots, has to be said. But yeah, either way, we are. It's only taken us 6 episodes to get to Enterprise, which I'm very surprised by.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think this is not a controversial thing to say, but I really liked Enterprise. I think it was woefully underrated at the time.
What pissed me off more than anything else is the fact that there were two things that I really wanted to see with regards to Enterprise, or either one or the other, and that was we were told that there were two main wars between the Federation and other races, and those races were the Romulan War and the Klingon War, and we got to see neither of them. We only got a little snippet of what the Federation versus the Romulans could have been, and that would have been absolutely fantastic if they'd gone into a fifth and a sixth, and like every other series, a seventh season, we definitely would have gotten at least the Romulan War. I wouldn't have been too upset if we didn't get the Klingon War, but the Romulan War would have been absolutely ace, would have been absolutely fantastic. And the fact that we didn't get it because it was cancelled after the 4th season pissed me off no end. We were getting told that if it was to go to the 5th, 6th, and 7th season, you would have seen the Romulan War. You would have seen the NX-01 refit with the deflector dish and with shields and with new weapons. And I'm like, the one thing that I think Star Trek producers and directors and showrunners have really learned over the years is that more action means better ratings. And but unfortunately, in the sense of Enterprise, they did do a lot of action, but they did a lot of kind of slow-paced non-action episodes, and I think that's what killed them. And that and the fact that we've gone from Next Generation straight into Deep Space Nine, straight into Voyager, and it would just like this was a step too far. If they'd had maybe started it a year later, it probably would have got those 7 seasons.
I think so. I think there was a bit of like I think it's a combination of like burnout from Star Trek, but also kind of like TV habits changing at the same time, and Star Trek not catching up, not keeping up with it. Because what went on at the time? Sopranos, The Wire, fucking Lost.
So many good shows.
Yes, where writing is key and a continuity to everything. Whereas like Star Trek is still kind of in like Alien of the Day type mindset with some of the shows. So, although in fairness, with season 1, not an issue because they have enough like kind of like lore built up to kind of work on different stories there, and then you throw in this like temporal Cold War stuff into it as well. But that's not the issue tonight. Thankfully, we'll deal with that another time. Thankfully, we are talking about the Andorian incident though, which is a very good conspiracy episode in its own right, and could be a bit of a sleeper here, lads, in the listing. We'll see how it goes, but Gerry, are you ready to start with us?
I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Well, again, guys, if you happen to have access to this episode, then we invite you to watch along with us, and then we will give our scores right at the end of the episode when we get through all of our other business, which is a lot this time, Gerry, so strap yourself in. But until then, I shall count us in on 3, 2, 1, engage. I always feel like I should have a different sign on whenever like we're doing something that isn't Next Generation, you know.
But, make it so.
Make it so is a good one, yeah.
I know it's Next Generation, but make it so. Engage. What was the Klingon in Makcha?
Cha is a good one, yeah.
Makcha, I like that.
Execute if you're that prick from the Excelsior. Execute.
Or if you're Michael Burnham, let's fly.
Let's fly. Sorry. Let's do my Michael Burnham.
Oh, look at them. Look at
the lads.
The way Andorians were supposed to look.
Yes. The correct and the antenna and everything.
Love it. Oh, that song. Oh, that song.
Do you know the sad thing about this intro is that someone has put the actual like the Archer's theme, which is what the ending theme is, here instead, and my god, it's such a better fit. It's such a better fit. Like it's a proper Star Trek music as well. Like it is as Star Trek as it gets. But It probably seemed like a good idea at the time.
They wanted to do something different. I get that, but it doesn't have.
From, like,
this is not a
now.
tradition. Yeah, it's not a traditional entrance into a show.
Yes.
You're seeing all the original Enterprises, and I get where they're going with that because the show is called Enterprise. But we don't get those lovely long visuals that you get from Deep Space Nine, Next Generation, and Voyager. Like, you just don't get it. And I'm like, I don't get why we don't get it, because that's what we love.
You could have done it as well without the kind of like without the song as well as a thing. Like
saying that now, I don't hate the song.
No, it's fine.
I do like the
song. That's the thing. Like, it's just so incongruous, if that's the word.
And look at that. She is a lovely fucking ship.
Yes,
you can't deny that. That's a lovely ship.
And again, I love it. It's because it's rational, it's logical from the design, which we'll get to it in the ship days. Charles Tucker. In another life, you'd have been the biggest NASCAR fan going, and you would have voted for Trump. No.
I love his fucking accent. I love his accent.
Yeah.
I met him in Birmingham. Such a nice guy. Really, really nice guy.
Sounds like a gentleman, yeah. There's a planet a few light years off our current heading. There's a remote outpost. She is so sick of their shit already.
The difference between the Vulcans in Enterprise and the Vulcans in every other series is huge. Yes, okay, they're emotionless, but they're nasty bastards in this.
It's a contrast of it as well.
Yeah.
Because they are essentially gatekeepers for the humans.
Yeah. But I get the fact though that their hierarchy was different, and then eventually when they get is it the Katra? Is it or Katra? And then they start to kind of scale things back, and they're not overly aggressive. You're like, okay, that's the Vulcans we know. But like, even looking like, that's not a Vulcan look. That's a resting bitch face Vulcan look.
Oh yeah. But like I said, there is a superiority complex there because she is the Vulcan observer for the humans. So she is essentially their mammy, making sure they don't shit in the fucking fountains, essentially.
Yeah. And I just noticed there as well, Roxanne Dawson directed this episode. So I like the fact that you get a lot of Star Trek actors directing episodes.
And to be fair, Enterprise had a good run with that. LeVar Burton had a few to his name. Jonathan Frakes, of course.
Jonathan Frakes,
took New Trek under his wing. And
Robert Duncan McNeil.
Didn't Brent Spiner get one as well? Or
I think so, yeah. I think he directed his episodes when he did the...
I thought so, yeah.
What's his name?
Sung
episodes, yeah. And I have to say, Phlox is one of my favorite doctors.
I do love Phlox.
He's such a good character, like.
I have to say, it's actually like for a New Trek, I took to these characters straight away.
Oh, immediately. Especially Archer, because I was a huge fan of Quantum Leap.
Yeah.
Huge fan of Quantum Leap.
Did you just smile here? Don't think so.
No.
I'm waiting for every time
I remember seeing that smile for the first time. Like, what the fuck is that? But it's not like even a typical Vulcan look. It's a very tired, like, a sick of your shit Archer look. That's what it is, like.
Yeah, she's there as if she's been told, be impartial, don't have fun. And that kind of checks out with the Vulcans at this time.
Yeah. I have to say, though, out of every other series, in terms of the episode, they definitely wanted to kind of sexualize this show a little bit more.
Yeah, there was a lot of sex.
Especially, a lot. So you've got like the bits where they were in the decontamination room and they're rubbing each other down and they're practically naked. I'm like, lads, Jesus, it's Star Trek. What's going on here?
I know, yeah.
Well,
that was a producer's call as well, and it doesn't suit them in a sense.
I love this series, though.
I also supposed to point out, by the way, this is my favorite engineering.
Oh, that's not engineering.
No, but I think it comes up later on. It just reminded me of the sets.
Oh, okay,
Like,
yeah. The engineering set was fantastic.
Yeah, brand new sets for this show as well. Like they gave it a full commitment. Like
everything from the sets, the uniforms, weapons, everything was brand spanking new. Nothing used again. Like everything was brand new.
And in fairness, like it shows, those uniforms are great. They are exactly as you'd expect them to be.
Yeah.
Did you get any of that, Tucker? Nope.
But you look at it, we were talking about shuttles in the last episode and how small these shuttles are. Like they're tiny.
Yeah. But they look, that makes complete sense though.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's a great line. Someone had to purge really badly. Don't argue that away, DePaul. Someone kicked the door down. Hello.
Like even you look at their uniform, even the patches on the side that's very NASA like. It's so good, like.
And the zips as well. Actual zips on the uniform.
And you can see them.
Yes.
You see the zips.
Oh, you're here.
He's just like
They're humans. Don't tell them anything about the conspiracy. What?
Say nothing about the big sensor, right? The what? Sorry, what? You could see where they're going with her, though. They wanted to have their new 7 of 9.
Yes, that was exactly how they looked at it. And it's great decor.
Mm-hmm.
Your service, honored. Before we leave, may I request the offering of the Jakar stone for my distinguished guests?
Wait. Oh God, he can speak. Oh God, he can walk.
Something wrong? Probably not. What? This is the main atrium. And the icon in that shrine is perched at an arm. On the first time.
I love him.
You know, I think the oldest.
Oh, I love Archer, man. He hates Vulcans so fucking much. He's able to take the piss out of them.
I've heard it can take days to explore.
Oh, the Paul plays long. Love it.
Take at least that long to clean the place up.
Forgive the disarray. Kolinar encourages members of our order to face their vestigial emotions. The repercussions can sometimes be violent. Please. This is the stone of Jakar, which represents the foundation of all we believe. Like order and control through logic.
So it's your pet rock, basically.
Oh fuck!
It was very like Colomini during the like giving birth process, wasn't it? It's like ding, fuck, ding.
Yeah. Hey, Blarney Stone!
Hey, potato. Oh, that's good.
Please, you must leave now. San Francisco Zoo. There's something you should see.
Boom.
Love it.
Get his weapon for God's sake.
It's okay. It's just a plastic Nerf gun.
Uh-oh.
Ah.
I like that. There's Shran. Okay, 2 different weapons, 2 different handguns.
Yes. 3 actually. Now that I mention.
Huh.
Well.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Dun, 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 dun. I bet that was
One thing I will say about Enterprise is that music was always good. Really
what I liked
good.
about it was that it had like suites for every episode.
Yeah.
And they just used them whenever they needed it, which I thought was good. Fuck that guy in particular.
Move your ass, you bitch.
Oh, there's a Buddha there.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, there he is.
I didn't know. What does that mean? Earth, what is that? It's where we're from. It's our homeworld. Why did you? Answer my question.
No, that's not very nice, Jeffrey.
This planet was along our course. We only came to this sanctuary. Liar. What's your mission?
He definitely sounds like a conspiracy theorist, doesn't he?
Doesn't he?
Liar.
It's the
Liar.
antenna. He's getting 5G on his little noodles.
You're working with the Vulcans. I'll admit I have a Vulcan science officer.
Not by choice.
I came here out of curiosity. Now, if you don't mind my asking, what are you doing here?
Good look.
He's telling the truth. We came for a visit. That's all. We scanned your ship and orbit. You're very well armed for people who came for a visit. You and the pigskins have proven loyalty. This is far more than a sanctuary.
You have noticed that the blue tinge is a bit light on Jeffrey's face there.
Yeah, and a little bit on his neck as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll enjoy having you as a prisoner.
My antenna is excited.
Dirty bastard. It's exactly how my mother would say it as well. The dirty bastard.
Oh,
She's probably gonna watch. She's probably gonna watch this and and go, see that little bollocks.
It's more a case like, oh Jesus, they're disgusting things altogether. Like slugs, aren't they? Like slugs.
They're known for their suspicious and volatile nature. Andorians. Yes, sir.
Not to confuse by the principality between France and Spain.
For many years.
Well, they've been in contact with us.
And our technology. They even believe that we intend to mount an invasion on their home.
No, that would
do.
be terrible.
We negotiated a treaty, but some Andorian factions still believe we're.
It's mad to think though that the Vulcans were so aggressive that they actually were trying to invade Andoria.
Yes, that's it. Like it was the kind of nice guy act that they had in a sense.
Yeah.
So what are you gonna do? Just sit here and let them ransack?
Like even this episode, like the difference in the Vulcans. You think, well, this is just a sanctuary. What's going on here? And then you realize, oh wait, hold on.
Yeah. It was a level of deception they had because, again, as we established from like Spock and other Vulcans, they don't lie.
Yeah.
But they're all lying through their teeth here.
No good deed goes unpunished. The shuttle says they should have picked it up.
They went to visit some monks. Why would they scan for alien
It
ships?
should be standard procedure. That's why. There it is.
Another good man for a convention is Malcolm Reed.
Yeah.
Good drinker. I'll give him that. Good drinker.
I can imagine.
Definitely got a bit of Irish blood in him.
That should be standard procedure as well.
You sure they're not overreacting? They're probably just taking a tour, observing some kind of meditation ritual.
I love that smash cut. I love nothing more than a smash cut, lads. Honestly,
select a Vulcan as your science officer? No, she wasn't my first choice. Why a Vulcan?
Good look.
But we'll let him answer first, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
She was assigned to us by the Vulcan High Command. Take orders from the High Command. For the last time, we just came to see the temple. That's my ship. Enterprise. They're trying to contact me.
He's really proud of that one. It's like, surely you have a flip phone in Andorra.
Yes. I'm Captain Archer. He's a prisoner of the Andorian. We know
Everyone just kind of stops and went,
Andorians?
is under constant surveillance. Arm your weapons. Make any attempt to approach the surface, and I'll kill the hostages. Wait.
Not the Holy Stone.
just fucking went to bits.
Mm. They don't make them like they used to, lads.
Yeah.
Stop ringing the.
There comes that rubble again. They love the rubble in this fucking
Yeah.
show. I love the captain's chair in this.
This is a good. Yeah.
It's
To be fair,
very
this is
like
a very-
Cisco's on the Defiant.
Yes. Yes. In fairness. I love that, like Malcolm Reed, obviously being the tactical officer, just goes like, right, this is my chance to execute a military operation because I love that shit.
It's on par with Worf fire
Worf.
torpedoes.
Yes. Whereas Malcolm Reed is send the Makos in and shoot everyone in sight.
Mm-hmm.
You can see why I got the Section 31 gig.
Yeah.
Tucker looks
Tucker's
so
like
fucking bored.
So
It's like,
bored.
oh God, I wish I was getting beaten to death. Apparently, according to the Vulcans, we all smell like milk and meat.
Milk.
Milk and meat, yeah.
Visit this place. Serious? Start killing people if they don't find what they're looking for. There is nothing to find. Never mind. Not this time. Looks like there are 4 of them. He saw some kind of scanning console. They talk a lot about searching rooms. I think they can find whatever it is they're looking for with those antennas of theirs. Rescue.
Mr. Reed wouldn't be that reckless.
Yes, he would.
My tactical officer to sit on his butt when he's threatened. The Andorian smashed our communicators. The longer we're out of contact, the more likely Malcolm will put together a landing party. Warning or no warning. Known him, a heavily armed landing party.
Mhm.
So if anyone has a suggestion, I'm all ears. There is an option.
I don't get it.
The transmitter, it's very old. You said you had no technology. Been used in many years. It may not even be working. I never met a busted radio I couldn't fix. Where is is this transmitter?
It's in one of our elders.
In the catacombs. Catacombs. Please listen to me, Captain. There are passages beneath us where we keep our most sacred relics, our undead. If the Andorians discover them, they will damage our culture in ways you can't begin to understand.
Well, isn't that handy?
I really want one of those in the sitting room here.
Wouldn't it be nice, wouldn't it? Secret
Mhm.
wall, man. So handy. God, I have to follow a Vulcan? Ugh, they're no crack at all.
And the smell of it is ours.
I know. I wonder. I don't know what the Vulcans would smell like. Probably just like asparagus or something like that.
Broccoli.
Broccoli, yeah. Actually, they wouldn't even have any smell at all. They're just so boring they wouldn't smell. Ooh, that would fetch a nice price on eBay. Again, I have to say, top notch on the settings set so far.
Yeah.
Oh, and very, very good.
Absolutely spot on.
Master Hedok.
Looks well all the same.
Yeah. You think he'd be in like a coffin or something? No, he's just lying there.
No. Let the dirt get at him. It's good for the skin.
I do like the fact that the majority of the light is actually coming from the torches.
Yes.
A lot of
it's
things
on
like that are
Yeah.
illuminated to make it look like it's the torches, but this is majority of light is coming from the torches. And I really like that.
Yeah, it's a good little trick they do. I think they do with the bounce, where they'll have the bounces placed off camera, so that the light will come off the torches to lighten up the camera anyway. So it's a good way of doing it. Bounces are class, lads. Let's be fair.
Yeah. Okay, Trip, come on, get to work.
It's like a Curlite power cell.
So it's an NES card. Blow it and it's fixed. Flashing lights. Let's count the aliens. There's one missing. No, he's there.
It's only going to get colder.
Yes, the Vulcans don't shiver.
Mhm.
Too inefficient.
Start firing before the teams will get resequenced.
That would be bad.
A firefight close quarters with a dozen monks at risk.
I don't. I'm going to sit here and not shiver.
You're freezing.
It's been 24 hours since I took my nasal medication. The cold is preferable to the
Bitch.
She is such a cow, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Not to mention the destruction of the sanctuary itself.
It's insured, isn't it?
Hmm?
I said it's insured, Shirley.
Mm-hmm. Insured. No nonsense insurance.
Oh Christ! I can imagine. The answer is 5. But 5 what? 5. Bollocks!
Lying bastards.
Bollocks! I do want it to come back with like 2 little nodules on his head. Like, what? I don't know what you're talking about. You're talking shit, woman. Again, this works for Archer's character because the Vulcans did keep his dad's progress away from them for years.
Yeah. Bastards.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, you're a Vulcan.
Bitch.
I refuse to be Little Spoon.
Sir, you're wearing a whole deck plate.
Get my steps up, Benson.
What is it?
Transmission from surface. It's modulating EN signal very weak.
Put it through.
I do love the old radio effect they put onto this the line.
Yeah.
What's your status? Yes, you heard. We kind of walked into a hostage situation. The whole place has been taken over by Andorian, yeah. I've been reading about them in the Vulcan database. Militaristic, blue skin. That's them. Well, what do they want? They seem to think this place is some kind of a spy station.
I don't think I looked away at the right second. No, it's not.
Oh shit.
They said the S word.
We're working on a way out. They certainly can't negotiate. The captain bashed his last negotiation with a face full of bruises. But we're in touch. Understood.
Now Malcolm's going, right. Plan E.
No. What of this reliquary? No one's entered it in years. To do so would be blasphemy. I saw an old stairwell down there. Maybe a meter wide. It was right about here.
That would almost be directly beneath the entrance.
There were 3 dim lights coming from the top. Something like this.
Which is true. We had actually seen that ourselves. No, that was good. Lads, the transitions are fucking nailed on so far. I like it. I just love Jeffrey Combs always has like a death glare. It's like,
Yeah. Every single character he does.
yeah. He's like the perfect Star Trek like actor in that sense.
Yeah.
Just jump in and be a prick. You know, he's perfect at it. I'm gonna hide this little rubber band I have.
I need to speak with you alone. I have some information for you.
I found a little Lego man on my arm.
What is it? Well, for one thing, I need some fresh air. You ever been stuck in a room full of Vulcans for 12 hours? The information. I'll bet their robes haven't been washed since the time of Sir. Have you heard of him? Vulcan philosopher. He's the one who got everybody to start purging their emotions.
You have to be there, lads.
I don't know about you, but I've learned really a lot since I got here.
Andorians are
right into the kidneys.
Yeah, kidney punches, man.
What do you want to know? Did you know that over 70% of the organisms in my home world are bacteria? What?
That's the fact.
Here's something I think you'll find interesting. There was a man in Canton, Ohio, who once rolled a ball of spring over 6 meters in diameter. Wasting up time. Take it back. There was a famous astronomer on Earth.
Huh.
Just loves getting his arse kicked.
He really does.
Please, I can't stand it on that.
Like I think what I like about the Jonathan Larcher character is that he's a perfect mix of what like the ideal captain will become, but he's also got the kind of maverick streak that Kirk has. Like he's still like you very clearly tell like personality wise, not the finished article for the peak of humanity, but
Yeah.
he'll get there, and that's the best part. That's what I like about it. Face. I do want to just ask, where did he get the tiny toy Vulcan?
I'd imagine somewhere in there, like on a pedestal or something.
That's like a holy relic. That is a miniature Tepec that we give to tourists. What the fuck?
Get out of the way and everything will work out for you. Phase pistols on stun, sir. The captain's instructions are quite explicit. It's a consulates and it won't bite.
Scramble your molecules.
Heard stories, sir, may not be safe. I've heard the same stories. Now get up here.
Transporter anxiety. See, Barkley, you weren't alone. You're just 200 years before anyone else.
Exactly. Oh, fucking hell.
I do like that at this point of like humanity, the transporter is such a new and weird thing. It is like our equivalent of planes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Lovely.
Perhaps you have faulty equipment.
Is there a cut into Paul's lip, or is that just maybe frostbite?
I think
Look
it's
at
just
it
where her
on
lip
Mark,
is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's weird. Tell you what, lads, if the Makos were here, man, fuckers wouldn't stand a chance.
Not at all.
I can't remember what was the name of the general for them. I can't remember. Was it something generic, General Smith or something like that, wasn't it?
It was something along those lines. Only thing I can remember about him is because I remember seeing him years later when my wife made me watch Desperate Housewives, and he was in that.
Well, everyone had to have a gig once.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, some plastic explosive. Love it. Malcolm Reed definitely had the descendants in the Ra.
Mhm.
Nailed on.
Sorry, did you say Malcolm Reed was in the Ra?
I think his descendants were in the Ra.
But he's very English.
He is very English. Look, things can change in 120, 200 years. Irish unification, man. Everything. The borders are broken, lads. When the Irish invade Britain, you see.
Yeah. Well, it took 700 years to get rid of them out of Ireland.
And it'll take them 700 years to get rid of us.
Oh no, we're put it this way: Irish people are like founders. We're everywhere.
Exactly. Yeah. We are, in fact, the goo police.
Yeah. Come on, kick his ass, Seabass.
Let's do it. Boom. Well, that guy is shit. Oh,
damn it!
Hard look there.
I do like the hand phasers in this.
Yeah, like they're a good mix of like very clearly still plastic toys, but also the sounds, the foleying is quite good.
Yeah.
Two of them got away. They went down into the catacombs. I hope you're pleased, Captain. You turned a place of solitude into a war zone.
You're fucking welcome, by the way. All you lost was one
Son of a
stone
bitch.
face.
Let's go. Violence is no longer our way. Let's protect what is ours.
Shut up, old grey Vulcan.
I will scowl in defiance.
They're down this passage, 30 meters.
Only members of the High Order are allowed to go inside.
Bullshit.
I'll disarm them myself. You'll use one of those.
Checkmate. Oh,
Boom.
he's bricking it. He's shitting it.
It's like, shit, they're gonna find it. They're gonna find it.
God, I hate candles. There's one thing about Commander Shran is that he hates fucking candles. Oh, no, not the horse.
Oh no, not the pot. That was my favorite pot.
My God, all the pots are being ruined. If we had an economy, they would really cost a lot. Oh, he fucked it.
He's the one that exposed it.
Yeah. Every reliquary needs a good metal door.
It's like the X-Men door from
Yeah. That's exactly it. Like,
yeah.
You might want to take a look at this.
what a great twist this episode, by the way.
Oh, fantastic. This is when you find out that the Vulcans really are sneaky bastards.
Yeah. And midway through the season as well. It's like,
Yeah. Midway through the first season.
first season, yeah. It actually vindicates the humans as well in this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
green screen, working overtime there.
That is quite a fucking data center.
That thing had imaging sensors.
Oh, she's rattled.
Take all the pictures you can. I see no weapons on the ground. I will kill him if necessary.
Considering your shot last time, you'll probably miss.
Even at that range.
Yes.
Good look.
That punch missed, but fair enough.
All this time, they've been calling these monks liars, and all this time they've been right. They've got enough equipment down there to see what any Andorian is having for breakfast.
Slugs, mostly.
Yeah.
But you have no idea what Andorians eat, to be fair.
Mm.
The Vulcans violated your treaty. Your people ought to know about it. You have a problem with that?
It's a call to Enterprise.
Go ahead.
The Andorian ship will be leaving the surface momentarily. They're free to go.
Acknowledged.
Give me a kiss. Go on. Mwah. Sneaky Vulcan bastards. Oh, my sore jaw that you didn't even hit.
I know. I know everyone just gave him the stank eye to Paul because she was obviously such a narc for Vulcans. It's like, wake up, atheists. And there you go.
And there we go.
That's the episode. Wow. Okay. So yeah, Gerry, it was a very enjoyable episode, has to be said.
Great first Enterprise episode.
Yes.
Introduce us to Shran, which is Jeffrey Combs.
Yes.
This is I think this is going to be a high episode.
I have very few minuses on my list here, I'll be honest. So we'll get to that. But before we do, we'll keep the scoring until the end. But we have to take a trip to the shipyards, unfortunately. So before we do that, only one entry this time, and of course it can only be the NX-01.
Yeah.
The original, the OG Enterprise, the concept, the end all concepts. What a ship! I love the Enterprise. It's
fantastic design. I remember the teaser they put out back then. It wouldn't have been teaser videos. It was like a teaser image back then when this first came out. And I remember looking at the image, going, "Oh, we're getting a series about an Akira class," because that's what I thought what it was. Because I don't think there was even a name then. It was just the ship.
That's right. Yeah.
What is this? And from the little bit that we got to see of the Akira class in both First Contact and Deep Space Nine, it was a ship that I always loved. It was a fantastic design.
Yeah.
But effectively, what they've done is they've taken the Akira class and turned it upside down.
Yeah,
that's effectively what they did, and I'm not upset about that because I think the NX-01 is a fantastic ship. Absolutely fantastic inside and out. It's a great design. It incorporates what we were saying during the episode there of Star Trek and NASA. So it does have that kind of very kind of International Space Station feel to it. The color of it, the components of it, very NASA-y feel. But then you've still got that classic Star Trek design. But a fantastic ship. Absolutely fantastic ship. She's got to be a captain at the very least.
Yeah, I'm thinking that myself. Like the way I kind of look at it as well. Like I love it for the point that obviously you said there was like a connection between the Starfleet that would be and NASA. Like I think like on the outside, definitely design wise, is certainly that point, but the interior is definitely like a space station feel vibe to it. It's very claustrophobic, very enclosed. And it's a big enough ship, like it's 225 meters, you know.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the Intrepid class there earlier on. So like this is like not too far away from that, but it's very small. You know, there's like I think there's only like 83 people on the ship at any time. So it's a pretty slim ship in all sense. And yeah, like it's a really good ship. I don't know if you ever kind of felt this way as well, but going by the actual like kind of canon that we have in this timeline, I really like the idea of having the NX-01 be inspired by the Enterprise E.
Oh yeah,
from First Contact.
Yeah,
Because
I get that. Yeah,
you know, because I look, there is a point where Cochrane does see the ship, but he sees the kind of the upper part of it. So he sees a saucer, he sees a body, he sees nacelles, and thinks, "Oh, that's a spaceship." And then that kind of trickled down over the generation.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
you know, and I feel like it doesn't like I said, it doesn't necessarily look like a Sovereign class, but it has a saucer and it has a star drive. It has the basics there. You know, which is a matter of like putting everything together and hoping it doesn't blow apart. Which eventually it didn't, because there are episodes where it explained how it got to that point, which is pretty cool. Like honestly, I love it because you can actually see the working theory of the spaceship. You can see it being refined over time then as well, because there was one or two refits done throughout the series, like mostly weapon based refits. But as you mentioned actually at the start, that it was meant to get a secondary hull to make it look a bit more like the Enterprise A we would have known of later on. It's a bit of a shame. There are a few little things I do like about the NX. What was the thing about the thing about the front, right? The front is the deflector array.
Yeah.
But the idea of it was initially, if I'm not mistaken, was that it basically like it can also act as a bit of a like. I think the Defiant has this as well. You know, Defiant has the kind of that weird kind of that Provosis nose at the front. That's a detonator charge. So the Defiant is like stuck in like if it's going for ramming speed, that blows up wherever it's going. Yeah. So it kind of nicked that idea off it as well. But the NX is meant to be a deflector, which is why it just has a weird just chunk cut off the fucking saucer. Yeah. You know, I just love how bespoke that looks, because no other ship does that. That is unique to that ship, because he found better ways around it than after.
Yeah, secondary fucking hull for one.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just have a cut like a fucking square cut off your fucking saucer. Like it's not the Borg we're dealing with here, you know. But yeah, and again, another thing I love about it is the grappler, because the
grappler is great. Yeah, no tractor beam. We just send a big hook and a line. Am I going to catch it like a fish? And they did, which was nuts to think of, because of like this is the most basic of basic things, and it worked. It's kind of like you look at Picard in First Contact, phasers aren't working. Let's get a fucking Tommy gun instead and blow the shit out of them, and it worked. So it was like it's not what you would think from something that is supposed to be futuristic Star Trek, but fuck it, it worked.
Yeah, definitely. So, like I said, the NX class was is obviously we actually saw two NXs in the run of Enterprise. Obviously, we saw Enterprise itself. The second one, Gerry, do you remember?
The NX-02 Columbia.
Columbia, indeed. Which Tucker jumped onto briefly before jumping.
The dirty fucking turncoat, and then he was like, "Oh no, Captain, I need to come back. I missed it. I missed the Enterprise, and I missed the Paul's neurotherapy, you dirty bastard."
I thought engines were your first love, Tucker.
Yeah, well, there's definitely an engine, but
steady.
Yeah, I'm not going to go anymore with that.
But yeah, I just said for the crack, I'd actually have a look and see how many NXs they are in, because there's only 2 that we know of in main canon. There's actually 16 in beta canon.
In terms of NX, the Defiant was an NX.
In theory, yes. Yeah, in terms of like concept ones, yeah, there would have been an NX. But the actual this class of ship, before it was actually called something, it would actually eventually be called a Columbia class, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Because the Columbia was kind of the refined version of the Enterprise, because it had like a slightly different hull and stuff like that. But shockingly enough, they're all named after current spaceships. So you had NX-03 Challenger, another NX-03 was an Excalibur. So there was 2 NX-03s. Then you had NX-04s, which are Discovery and Constellation. Atlantis and Slayton was NX-05s. NX-06s was the Endeavour and Defiant, as you remembered. NX-07s was the Lexington and Intrepid, and then the Avenger was NX-09. Before we had then the Curie and the Tyson, which was NX-16. So quite a lot of them in the end. And again, it didn't really change too much over the kind of design. It was like a lot of it was kind of refinements and tweaks and the like, you know, in that sense. So a lot of it is in kind of beta canon and books and novels around the time as well. So but in terms of, at least for what we know of main canon, we have 2 of them basically, and that's the 2 that we know of. But I'm sure there were certainly more since before they got retired and changed out completely for the Enterprise itself that we know so love and dear. But yeah, in terms of the actual ranking, I have to totally agree with you on that. I think it's going to be a captain. But if they were Voyager, like,
it needs to be done. Yeah, needs to be done.
Yeah, it's very close to Admiral for me. I think, like, again, if we got our way and saw like the refinement to what would become the Constellation class, then, you know, maybe it might get bumped. But I think I just like the simplicity of it, though. You know, the kind of way I like how like it just looks natural. For a concept spaceship. So yeah, I dig it. Yeah, I think it ranks quite highly in that regard. So there you have it. So with that in mind, let's move on to our guests among the stars. And oh boy, Gerry, strap yourself in. We have a lot to get through. So we only have one and done in this episode.
One and done in this episode. I'm going to say that it was the second mouthy Andorian.
No, actually, he's been in it before. I know what you're talking about. It's actually the second mouthy Vulcan you're thinking of. The guy that brings us into the catacombs, gets
the kind of younger lad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's played by Richard Tanner. No, he doesn't. The initiate doesn't get a name in the script, but he's appeared in a lot of different TV shows and movies. But he has never actually appeared more than once in Star Trek. This is his only role, and it was just as an initiate. Again, no named character, which is a bit harsh, to be honest. But very much kind of like a regular kind of like appearance on the likes of, say, The West Wing, Jag, Sabrina Teenage Witch, The Nanny. He's in a couple of movies like The Glimmer Man and the Pandora Project as well. So yeah, he kind of comes around. A lot of kind of cameos, that type of deal. But certainly just a one and done in Star Trek terms. Now we get to the fun parts. So we have our multiples here. So the first name I'm going to throw at you here is Jamie McShane.
Jamie McShane. Now I'm going to assume that's the mouthy Andorian.
It is not the mouthy Andorian.
Okay.
He is the tactical officer that nearly shits himself going onto the transporter.
Okay. I'd imagine he probably appears in Enterprise again.
Okay. Yeah, well, that is true. Whereas he is a second character in Star Trek, though. He plays someone else.
No, I'm not even going to try and guess. Go on. Okay.
So he obviously, I gave it away there. He does have 2 roles, and obviously he's just a tactical, nameless tactical crewman in Star Trek Enterprise, but he's actually Jaban in Star Trek Picard.
Jaban,
the second Romulan servant to Picard. Orla Brady's husband.
Oh, fuck. Wow, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it? Fucking hell, okay.
How about that? Yeah.
Wow.
How fucking about that? So, yeah, isn't that very interesting?
Yeah, that's interesting though, I have to say.
Yeah, that was his first gig. His first gig was to be a nervous tactical crewman. So, and he doesn't have a name at all in the script or in canon whatsoever. So, unfortunately, he had to wait until Star Trek Picard to actually be given a character with a name, which is a shame. But
and more than one line.
And there's one line, and he gets shouted at by Orla Brady for not being a mammy, I guess. I'm sure he'll be in season 2. I'm sure.
More than likely, yeah. If she's in it, he's going to be in it. So
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, next one I will tell you about then is Stephen Dennis.
Okay, that has to be the second. No,
It's the
it
Mountie
is the second
Andorian,
Mountie.
yes.
Thanks be to Jesus, because I was like, right, it's either going to be the first Mountie Vulcan or the second Mountie Andorian.
Yes.
But he has a very recognizable face. He's been in a lot of things. But in terms of Star Trek, I'm going to say 3 roles in total.
3 roles in total. It's a good guess, but the correct answer was 5.
Whoa!
He appears 4 times in Voyager. Right?
Voyager.
Yes. Now, granted, I will understand if you don't get them because 3 of them are under prosthetics. Right.
Right.
So the first one, do you remember the Voyager episode called Night?
Yes.
First episode of season 5.
Yes, it's basically they're going through an area of space that has no stars, no constellations, nothing. It's just darkness.
Yes, exactly. And basically, an alien appears on the ship, and he's just referred to as a night alien. Yeah, that's him. That's Stephen Dennis playing that.
I would never have had a clue because even the voice is completely different.
Yeah, I reckon the voice could have been very modulated as well. So, I wouldn't be surprised in that.
Wow.
Another character he plays is do you remember the episode Think Tank?
Yes.
Also from season 5.
Yeah.
So he's the one that has what's his name?
George Costanza, basically from Seinfeld.
Yes, Jason Alexander.
Yeah,
That's
Jason Alexander. Yeah.
So basically, one of the people in the think tank is a fellow called Fenham. He's the kind of the guy that has the very kind of like the square, the like very long, pointy, sharp-looking face.
Yeah.
No mouth, nothing like that. Yeah, Stephen Dennis plays him as well. But he doesn't get credited for it in the credits, funny enough.
Oh.
But he play him, yeah. Again, another character he plays is from the episode Warhead, another season 5 classic. And he plays Ongwani. Sorry if I've butchered that. He is a Garan trader who gets killed off in the episode. So yeah, again, I'll have all these pictures come up in the edit, so we'll actually recognize them because I know there's a lot of throwaway dead characters in Voyager. So I'll make it easier for ourselves. Very much so. But finally, there was one role where he wasn't under prosthetics, where he was just himself. Do you remember the Equinox 2-parter?
Yeah.
Right. He was one of the crew. He was Crewman Thompson, which I believe he may have been on the helm or thereabouts. I'll tell you exactly what
he mustn't have lasted long. He must have died fairly quickly.
He did actually get killed off. Yeah, he was actually one of the guys killed off by the life forms. So,
right, okay.
Yeah, so there you go. So he's had 5 roles and he gets killed off in most of them, unfortunately. But that's
well,
you win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, like he obviously a guest actor. He's done multiple roles in Star Trek. He's also been in stuff like The Young and the Restless, unfortunately, LA Heat as well, and he's done some film work as well. But mostly he's a thespian, and he has been like a artistic associate actor and director of the Shakespeare Company in Pennsylvania, and he's a teacher at the DeSales University for acting as well. So he gets around to his credits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Busy man. Now, next up on our list is Mr. Bruce French.
Now, I'm going to say he was the first older Vulcan.
Yes, that's correct. He is the Vulcan elder. Yeah.
Now, I feel like I've seen him a couple of times in Star Trek, so I'm going to go with 4.
4. Okay, you are correct with 4.
Ooh.
Where do you think you've seen him before?
That's the thing now. I wouldn't have a clue. I know I've seen his face. He's like the previous guy, very recognizable face, but I don't know. I think I may have seen him as a Vulcan.
And you would not have seen. This is his only Vulcan role.
Right. Okay. I've definitely seen him, but you're going to have to enlighten me here. I don't know. Right.
Well, let's start off canonically then. So the first one you would have seen him in is in the Drumhead, in the Next Generation episode. If I told you he was the Betazoid investigator, Sabin Genestra.
Okay, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
so that was his first role. He also appears in Voyager in the Caretaker episodes. He was the doctor.
Oh, Compton.
Yeah.
Compton. Yeah.
Doctor, yeah. And he's also in Star Trek Insurrection. He was one of the Sona officers on the ship.
Yeah.
So he gets a couple of lines as well.
Wouldn't really recognize him from that now because of the amount of
fairness.
prosthetic they would have had on that. But the other roles definitely you would know it was him. 100%. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, in terms of Bruce French, like this guy, like there's a great lot of credits to his name. Like I would not be doing it justice by just naming a few of them off.
He's been in everything, I assume.
Yeah, no, very much so. One of those actors. Yeah. He's been in a 50-year career so far. He's still 76.
Fucking hell. Okay.
And I think he's his most stuff actually. I suppose I'm just kind of reading from it here. Dallas, you would have known him from Ally McBeal, and Passions, the god awful soap opera that All Americans. Okay. So he's in that as well. But yeah, 4 roles. So well done, Gerry. You got the 4 roles.
Thank you. I think the next one though is going to be a bit more difficult.
Well, there is one more we'll get to before we get to Jeff Combs. It's Jeff Ricketts. So this one's not much of a. This one's a bit of a cheap one in a sense, but we'll say it anyway. Jeffrey Ricketts also plays one of the other Andorians. He's actually the one the named Andorian, which is Caval. Okay. But he's also the Axanar captain in the previous episode, Fight or Flight. So again, both under prosthetics, so you wouldn't have known based off the kind of the complexion, really. Fun fact, he's actually in 24 as well. He plays the character Victor Rovner in that episode as well.
Oh, I recognize that name.
Yeah, I think he was one of the informants in that show. He would have been the guy. I think he was in season 1, and obviously in 24, everyone gets killed off in the end. So I think he's the actual informant that tips off Jack Bauer in that episode, as far as I'm concerned. But yeah, he's fun fact actually. He also, I'm just reading here, was actually in the Jonathan Frakes science fiction show Clock Stoppers. He was Officer Myers in that show. So
never seen it. Never even knew it existed.
Yeah, there you go. Fun fact. Right then, so let's get to our main event, shall we?
Okay.
We've been hyping this up for the last week or two. So, Jeffrey Combs.
Right. Let me go through them. So, he first appeared in Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Right.
So he plays an alien who wants a hologram of Kira. Now I can't remember his name. Then he plays Brunt, FCA. So that's 2, right? Then he plays Wayun.
Yeah.
Then, if you're going to be really technical about it, he plays Mirror Brunt.
I will accept both besides the Brunt, so that's okay.
Okay, so right. So
and all the multiple Wayuns as well, so we're not going to do that.
So that's 3 in Deep Space Nine. Then he plays a guy in the Tonkatsu episode of Voyager? Tonkatsu, so that's 4.
Yeah.
Then he plays Shran, which is 5. Oh, I know there's more. Are we going to do the episode of is it Far Beyond the Stars? Of the police officer.
You want to count him as that as well?
Yeah. So that's 6.
That's 6, yeah.
He plays I can't remember the name of the Ferengi, but another Ferengi in Enterprise.
Okay.
That's 7.
Yeah.
Then the newest episode of Lower Decks is like an evil computer. That's 8.
Yeah.
I feel like there's another one, but I'm just going to go with 8.
8 is the correct answer. You successfully listed all the ones he was credited for. So, as I said, the first one he was in was the DS9 episode Meridian. He played Tyron, who wanted a hollow recreation of Kira and got Quark instead. Hard luck. Then of course he also played Brunt FCA, because I hate that fucking guy, and I'm glad he's.
I love Brunt. He was so cool.
The prick. Every time I showed up, I was like, "Oh, fuck off."
Brunt FCA.
So yes, he plays Brunt, of course. Then of course, perhaps his most famous role, Wei-Yun.
Wei-Yun, yeah.
From the Dominion arc itself. Again, you were right in saying that his policeman role counts in Far Beyond the Stars. His character's name was Kevin Mulcahy.
Okay.
But of course, they give it like an American spelling, so Mulcahy, because they have to be different. And then obviously you have Mirror Universe Brunt, you have Wei-Yun 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You were right in the episode Sunkatse. He was Pink in that episode. Okay. Jeffrey Combs, Jerry Ryan, and The Rock, and all in one episode, lads. Why are we not reviewing this? Obviously, he was coming.
And actually, that has JG Hertzler, I believe, in it as well.
Yes, it does. Yeah, it's like fucking Star Trek's Mortal Kombat. It's mad. Or Super Smash Bros, which is more accurate. As you said, he was Tylek Shran in Enterprise, very much so a reoccurring character. We'll see multiple times, I'm sure. He was in the episode Acquisition, as you rightfully said. His character name was Krem.
Krem, yeah. I knew he was a Ferengi. Yeah. And then the evil computer from Lower Decks.
Called Agamus. So he was the voice of that. He also actually, if you remember the episode What You Leave Behind, he was actually one of the holosuites apparitions. He just pops up as a cameo, so we're not counting that because he's not credited for that. He's literally just in the background. You just see him in a suit.
He just wanted to be there for that scene because that was the last scene they shot.
Yes, well remembered. Yeah, exactly.
That was the last scene they shot. Yeah, so we obviously just wanted to be there for the last scene.
Yeah, precisely. So yeah, Jeffrey Combs, no stranger to Star Trek by all means. Perhaps holds the record for having the most characters in Star Trek. It'd be certainly a tough twist between him and Mark Alamo, I would say.
No, there's one other one that's definitely more than Mark Alamo. And for the life of me, I can't remember his name, but he plays Admiral.
James Cromwell would be fairly close himself.
No, not Cromwell. Well, Cromwell was played a few as well. The Admiral from Enterprise, Admiral Forrest. He's played multiple different characters. He was a Romulan. He was 2 Klingons. Admiral Forrest. He's played a lot of characters himself. He'd be up close to Jeffrey Combs, I imagine.
Yeah, you will be right in that, I'd say.
Yeah. But, another guy that I got the pleasure of meeting, and he's a hell of a nice guy. Really, really nice. There's a lot. I have to say now, when it comes to Star Trek actors, apart from fucking William Shatner, they're all really, really nice. From my experience, anyway, they've all been really nice, very, really respectful. All drink like fucking fish. Yeah, really, 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 really nice people.
Yeah, I'm actually just thinking that you were right with Admiral Forrest. He plays he's Von Armstrong.
Von Armstrong, that's the one. Yeah.
Yes. So I suppose, like, if you want to call it that, Jeffrey Combs is part of the 7 or over crew, which is 5 people. So you have Randy Oglesby as one, who plays a great load of characters. He's like one of the Zindi. He's Dagra. He's also some of the aliens in DS9. Yeah. He's also Solarin Prin, who was in Darkness and the Light, and so forth. So he's one as well.
Oh yeah, a great episode. That Jesus.
JG Hertzler, as you mentioned, of course, Martok, and various other different kind of characters, bits and bobs under prosthetics. He also was the Vulcan captain and emissary who got shut off, very much like destroyed in that flashback. And of course, it was in the Far Beyond the Stars. Vern Armstrong, as you mentioned, holds the records, as far as I can see here, for having the most cameos. But there is another name as well, which is Thomas Capacci, who has done a great load of different roles. Very kind of small roles, it has to be said. You probably wouldn't recognize him unless you saw his face multiple times. But no, it is actually Vern Armstrong that holds the records on that. So whenever he does appear in an episode, I will quiz you on that and see how many we get.
Oh, come on.
Come on, man. We have to make this fun.
All right.
So Jeffrey Combs is the second highest behind Vern Armstrong.
Okay.
Right then. So with that in mind, then it is time to get onto our scoring. So
Get to scoring, yeah.
Yeah. So again, we ranked this episode fairly highly on, at least on my notepad here. So let's put some points to it. So let's start off with the plots.
Mhm.
So plot obviously is basically the overwhelming curiosity of humans wants to visit a Vulcan shrine. To Paul goes, but they basically stumble upon a hostage situation from Andorians, and it's the first time seeing them. So strong plot for season 1. Overall, to be fair, like Enterprise's season 1 is probably the strongest of them all because they were going in. It's not like, overall, I enjoyed the idea of this episode. It's a good episode to get Andorians kicked off.
Great plot, great introduction to a new old race, because obviously we knew the Andorians, but great way to introduce them to humans for the first time. Basically, first contact with the Andorians, absolutely brilliant. Just the start to finish, it had suspense, it had action, good. Everything about the writing, I thought, all really good. The plot, fantastic as well. All they're doing is they're looking at the Vulcan star chart. They're like, there's a planet. Paul, do you know anything about that? Fuck it, we go anyway. Come on. And they went and they went because they're explorers. They're visiting places for the very first time. So I'm going to rank this quite high because it is a good plot. I'm going to go 8.
Yeah, I was thinking 8 myself. I'm happy with that. Because like I said, it starts off nice and plain where it is a kind of like a planet. It makes you think it's a Planet of the Day episode, but because it's Vulcans and then the Andorians kick in the door, the way there's certain transitions that are done in this episode that are really well done, and I want to kind of give them compliments on that in certain points. But definitely starting off point where you have a monastery, Andorians arrive, your table's set. You know you're getting a good episode. And next up then is the setting. So again, much like the previous episodes, we're judging this on the sets that they've used, anything kind of that's more out of the ordinary, bespoke for the episode. So in this case, we're judging the monastery that they've used, and full marks on this one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. You've got the outside going into the door, into the atrium area. You've got that big kind of statue with the mouth and the eyes, then going down to the catacombs, them fighting then in front of that big X-Men door.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I'm gonna go for this. I'm 100% with you on this. Full marks on this one. Getting a 10.
We're getting a 10. 10 for setting.
10. Oh yeah, absolutely fantastic setting.
Very good. So hot start already. So then move on to the writing. So again, how well it delivers on what it's going to do. So as you kind of mentioned throughout the kind of episodes, or at least when we were talking about it, the Vulcans were very much written in a certain way. They were not necessarily hostile, but they were gatekeeping in terms of the human way. And as you said, it's a great departure from what they are like in, say, the original series and in other iterations, where they very much kind of like accept the fact that the humans are going to space with them, and there's nothing really they can do about it. In the sense that the horse is bolted. You can see there's a bit of defensiveness about him, and you can tell as well from the way the episode is kind of rolling is that like, well, there has to be something here or else there's no story, in a sense, because you're expecting it to go one or two ways, where the actual Vulcans are in the wrong or the humans like kick the Andorians' ass type of deal, and that's how they get to know each other. So overall, I think it does deliver on its plots, is what I would say to that.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. Start to finish, really, really good writing. I think even the little jokes and all that get put in and stuff like that, especially from Tucker. Tucker, he pulls it off great. The fact that you're bringing in Jeffrey Combs as well, and the writing for his scenes and stuff like that. Because throughout the 4 seasons, you do see somewhat of a change in Shran. He's still argumentative, nasty little fucker, but he definitely becomes friends with the pink skins, as he calls them, and especially with Archer, to the point where they even help him eventually recover his daughter. Isn't that right? That's one of the episodes they help him recover his daughter.
That's right.
The last episode they help him recover his daughter.
Yeah,
it's the very last episode, and I love the fact that Shran is in the last episode. I think the writing this is going to be high. It's not. I don't think it's as good as a setting in terms of a 10. Oh, I'm gonna go 8 to 8.5.
I was going to give it an 8. I think
Right,
it's
we'll go with 8. Then that's fine by me.
it was a well-delivered plot twist in the end, and did exactly what it needed to do, but kept the plot kind of ticking over a little bit, where it didn't overload us with certain things. Was what I'd do it. Acting then is the next one. So again, I've given kind of good points to Jeffrey Combs, to Connor Trinner, and to Scott Bakula in these ones. I think they're three kind of like real stars of this episode. There's a few stars in this episode.
Yeah.
Definitely Combs coming in and being like the actual, like, you're, as it were, setting the stall for the Andorians is what I would look at. In the same way that, like, Armin Zimmerman kind of set the stall for Ferengis, and then everyone kind of, like, not say copied it, but then they took their own slant on that.
Exactly, yeah.
Like, Jeffrey Combs going, right, this is what the Andorians are like, based off, obviously, the original series and other works, and everyone following Nell's suit then. It's like, if he's aggro, I'm aggro.
Exactly. His Andorian is definitely the benchmark of every Andorians that were to come after him. Yes. They're obviously they're suspicious, they're paranoid, they're angry, but they do have their moments as well. So yeah, I do like Jeffrey Combs. Jeffrey Combs is probably one of the best actors in all of Star Trek. He's absolutely fantastic. The standouts would definitely be, I definitely think Scott Bakula is he's just great. He really, really is. Captain Archer in this episode was particularly good. He's getting the shit kicked out of him and he's still trying to say jokes. I'm like, yeah, no, I like this. I really do. Connor Trinner is fantastic in this. Even like I would have to give some points to anyone who can actually pull off a Vulcan, because it's incredibly difficult not to show emotion in your face or in your voice.
And this type of Vulcan as well, with their and the hostile as well.
Standoff, hostile, arrogant, but also non-emotional. How the hell do you do all that at the same time? Because it's called contradictory, but they do it so well. And I have to say, T'Pol is one of those that she literally must sit in front of she must have sat in front of the mirror for hours practicing how to do it. I'm like, this is really, really, really good. I'm going to mark this high as well. This is going to be another high one. 8 to a 9, I'm going to say.
I'll meet you in the middle with 8.5, because I was thinking the same stuff. So,
okay, we'll go meet in the middle there, 8.5.
Well, mark me up, that is our highest ranked acting so far in this series. So
I'm sorry, but that is not to be for some reason I'm lost for words there. It's not. What am I trying to say? I have no idea what I'm trying to say. I have no idea. It's not surprising. That's it. Sorry, it's not surprising.
It's Jeffrey Combs.
You've got some of the best actors in Star Trek in this episode, and it's not surprising that they're getting a high scoring, because they are that good. They really are that good.
Absolutely. And again, we're getting to another one of the high points of this episode, the action. A lot of great set pieces, a lot of great transitions. There's a lot of great positives to this one. Again, I think this is one of the kind of the hallmarks of the Enterprise series, was that its action sequences were top notch.
Yeah,
you can definitely tell from, like, say, DS9 through Voyager to Enterprise, a lot of the choreography and a lot of the actual, like, physical sections of each episode were really refined to make it, like, so it wasn't just fucking double axe handles all over the shop. There's a bit of tactics going on here. There's a bit of, like, misdirection. There's a bit of movement to it. So I'm willing to rank it quite high. The only point of docking off it was the awful punch at the end, where
that was dreadful. That was dreadful. That for me would be that's the difference between an 8 and a 9 for me.
I'm kind of the way inclined, so I think I'll give it an 8.5 to 9. It depends on which way we're looking at it.
I'm going to go 8.5 as well. So you have to knock it off that 1.5 points, simply because of the terrible punch and then the terrible fall after the punch. It just wasn't good. It just wasn't good. At the end of what I don't get is, okay, I do get why they don't do kind of worked punches in stuff like this, because at the end of the day, you can actually come into contact with somebody, you could potentially damage or give a black eye, and then that's the whole day shooting fucked. So, but there has to be some better ways to do punches, like, you know.
It's a camera work as well sometimes.
Mm.
That camera was kind of pointed straight and he was at an angle.
It was a terrible angle, so they probably could have done with a better angle there. But it wasn't too that was bad. But the rest of it, lots of action, explosions, phaser fighting, all really good.
Archer getting the shit kicked out of him, the usual.
Yeah, I love the fact that that happens to him a lot, and he always comes back bloody, and he's just like, yeah, I had a great time.
He's just happy to be out in the ship. That's all.
So fun. He's so happy to be out in space, and like, let's go find another planet so they can beat the shit out of me there too.
The things I could say to my grandkids, it's terrible. But so next up then is the effects. So I have it down for a bit of a mixed bag at the minute. And I think it's mostly down to, like, obviously the phaser fight was very well done, but I think it's also the stuff like and the actual, like, visual effects on, like, Archer's face was quite good as well. But I think it's kind of the stuff like the green screening at the end was obviously like, looks quite bad now. But obviously that's just the way they were kind of doing things at the time. And that's basically it, really. So I have it down as a bit of a mixed bag, but I'd like to hear your thoughts on it.
I'd be the same as that. The phaser, absolutely, the phaser fight was fantastic. I think the explosion was quite good as well. The Andorian falling over after the explosion, stuff like that. Really, really good. It did get let down by that the visual at the end with the green screen wasn't very good. But when you look at the shuttle landing, the shuttle taking off of Pajem, and I have to say, Pajem, very Japanese-esque architecture. Exactly, yeah. Really, really good. And those effects were good. You know, this is not going to be like previous rounds where we're going like 9s or 10s. Seven and a half, maybe.
I'll meet you at 7, maybe.
We'll go with 7 on it then. We'll go with
7, I think. And next up then is the score. So we did compliment the music at points in this episode as well. Although one thing I would say is I think there were sections where it could have done with a little sting, with a little twist.
Absolutely, yeah.
Like, what I was thinking, I remember when they're kind of scoping the place around and they see there's a smashed plate and a kind of like the statue kind of off kilter. That needed a sting and there wasn't any there. It was dead silence. Now I get what they were doing. I get they were kind of like trying to be like, you know, like they're getting you to notice as opposed to them noticing. But a score is a score, lads. You need to, you know,
something subtle and even slight in the background there would have kind of just set it up.
Yes.
Kind of like you kind of think of Jaws. Dun, dun.
Yeah.
You know, something's coming. Dun, dun. So something nice and slow and subtle there kind of would have done the trick. But saying that, it was a fantastic score. The music on Enterprise, as we said, is always very good. But this was one of those episodes,
especially, was very good.
Exactly. And when the action kicks in, you're like, oh yeah, come on, here we go. Score, as I said to you, and I've said this multiple times now, a score can make or break an episode. This definitely helped with the episode, so I'm going to go with an 8.
Yeah, I'll agree with an 8, I think, on that one. So next up then is scenes. So again, you kind of use this kind of gauge to any kind of like memorable scenes and how well they were played out. And to be kind of felt define the episode as well. So one or two I think that we kind of pick out from, obviously the kind of a lot of them kind of Archer oriented for me, in a sense where like the way he was playing it up and trying to like get stuff to work out in his favor, and very much that's very much in those cases. I think the little exchange with him and T'Pol was quite good as well, in terms of, like, you know, the kind of the Vulcan arrogance and how to, you know, like to just like let the humans take over every now and then and just let it work. And again, just a lot of stuff with, like, just Jeffrey Combs just kind of commands a scene. Like, he just has that presence that, like, you can like a lot of the kind of those kind of actors, like the likes of Mark Alamo and your Hurslers, they just occupy the center of the screen and they own it. You know, it's very hard to take it off them. But certainly the exchanges between him and Bakula were sublime. So I definitely rank him high in terms of that. I don't know if there's an actual iconic scene from this episode, but it's certainly a very, like, a high bar for just good moments.
Absolutely, yeah. Good moments, yeah. There's the fact that there's a number of good moments in it as well.
Yeah.
I do notice that with Enterprise a lot more than the other seasons is that, or series, I should say, is that you definitely try and get a little bit more comedy into these, because these humans are closer to us than the original
Paradox.
series humans
Oh,
or
yeah.
the next generation humans. These are only a couple of they're 150 years or 100 years or whatever it is into the future from now, whereas the others are 200 and 300 years. So we're definitely closer. So you get that little bit of humor from them as well. And it's like, okay, well, we would get that. The only thing we actually didn't get this series was them saying like, oh, fuck off, will you? But Archer was like, I'll knock you on your ass type of situation. I was like, yeah, go on, kick ass, baby.
Yeah, there's a Maverick streak to them. Like
Exactly, yeah. So I'm gonna go. Ooh, I'm gonna go 7.5 to 8.
I was gonna go 7.5. So
Okay, we'll go 7.5. Cool.
So next up then is character. So again, who we think was the biggest winners out of this, and there can only really be one, and that's Shran.
It has to be Shran. It was our first introduction to the Andorians, and to have a really, really, really strong Andorian right at the front, right at the start, it just kicked us off that we wanted more Shran.
Yeah.
It wasn't even so much we wanted more Andorians, we wanted more Shran, and why did we get him in a big way? Because he came back multiple occasions over the course of the 4 years. Absolutely fantastic character, absolutely fantastic acting by Jeffrey Combs. Just absolutely stand out to me. This is gonna be high, Jonathan. This is gonna be high. I don't know if I'd give it a 10, but I definitely go with a 9.
I'm thinking a high score myself, and the reason I'm saying that is because like Shran obviously is the best boy this episode, but in terms of actual character and personality, you're looking at Tucker and Archer as well.
Yes.
To actually, because they were a great counterpoint to the Vulcan kind of like, not necessarily hostility, but the pacifist nature of how they were coming across. So like when you had like the Vulcan the elders and T'Pol completely like neutral and beige and all this sort of stuff, and then you had like kind of Tucker and Archer almost kind of like annoying tourist level of energy. They're bringing that to it, where like, you know, Tucker's going like, oh shit, all right, fair enough, and that type of deal, and like really being like, again, like those two guys in particular were the best fish out of water in any kind of scene. Like whenever Tucker's on an away mission, he makes a complete tit of himself, but you're expecting it. It's part of the show. And so like I'm actually gonna go a little bit higher. I'm gonna say 9.5. Because
but you know what, I'll go with 9.5 as well.
Because the reason I'm saying that's because, again, you might be looking and thinking, the fuck, that's really high. It isn't, because obviously the Shran character is like a blueprint for Andorians going forward. But it's also the fact like you actually get why Archer and Tucker were effective in that episode. Because they did come in like with a bit of human arrogance and a bit of human like directness, if you know what I mean. Where the Vulcans were happy to let the Andorians ransack the place, knowing they're not going to go into the reliquary. At the R, that's when they start acting. But the fact that like the humans kind of like allowed the situation to happen themselves, you know, was kind of almost like a better fit, if that makes sense.
No, yeah,
so
I get you.
I give it 9.5.
Yeah, we'll go with 9.5. Yeah, absolutely. I do think it deserves it. Yeah, because the acting is fantastic, the characters are fantastic. 9.5, absolutely.
Yeah. So then we get to the final category, which I think is going to be a bit controversial: the consequences. I have a lot of Doc's points in terms of a sudden ending, which I don't like. Not a fan of it. I don't know how much. I can't remember the first season how much that it is actually discussed about the actual thing they do discovery they do find in that monastery, whether they do follow up on it or not. I don't recall there being a massive follow up to it.
There is a follow up. But you see, you have to understand the consequences from this far outweigh just the gem part. The consequences from this episode were, number one, Archer got to meet first contact with the Andorians.
Yes,
and he became really, really good allies with the Andorians because of that first meeting, because of how they treated Shran and the Andorians. That was a level of respect between them. There was the Pajem ultimately did get destroyed, which, you know, was regrettable, and they were getting recalled back to Earth. But then there was the episode where there was a planet that was occupied by both Vulcans and the Andorians, and there was fighting over it, and they wanted Enterprise, and that wouldn't have happened without their first meeting at Pajem. So the consequences are far-reaching from this episode, more so than you actually think. Okay,
Yeah,
it might be only a footnote that the next time you hear Pajem is like, oh, Pajem got destroyed and we're being recalled to Earth. I'm like, oh fuck, okay. But you wouldn't have had such a good and healthy relationship with the Andorians if it wasn't for this first episode. So this, it's not. I get what you're saying with the whole the abrupt ending. Fair enough, but you can't discount it too much because this brought about this. Put it this way: this episode was the first stepping stone to a federation because it brought in the Andorians. Then it forced the Earth to be mediators for the Andorians and Vulcans, to which point then eventually Archer brings them all together in a federation with the Tellarites. So you can't discount it too much. So I'm going to go an 8 for consequences on this.
8. 8. Will I go 8? Yeah, I'll agree with 8.
Okay.
I'll agree with 8.
Cool.
So
now I'm very interested to see how this actually ranks, because this is interesting.
It is very interesting, Gerry, because let's go down from top to bottom. Obviously, bottom of the list right now is the Voyager Conspiracy. 0.5 ahead is Arsenal of Freedom. Joint third now is Conspiracy and the Battle at 73. But joint first is the Skin of Evil and the Andorian incident. They are both out of 100.
Wow.
Yeah. So
I was not expecting that.
A joint third.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I really wasn't.
No.
Oh, wow. That's interesting now, I have to say.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
There you go.
I'm quite happy with that, because I'm as happy with that episode as I was with Skin of Evil. So I'm very happy with that. We've 2 more episodes in our conspiracy arc. We have got the original series episode. Which one is it?
The Enterprise Incidents.
Yeah. And then I'm not going to say the last one, but it's the main event. I will be shocked if the main event in the arc does not get first spot. No, I will be shocked.
We're setting the table for the main events. Like this is like these are the matches on the pre-show. This is the warm-up. This is to get us in the mood, if you will. Yeah. But then because like I said, we're taking if you like, we're kind of taking different shows' spin on the same type of theme. Whereas with the North incident, this is an actual conspiracy against the Vulcans. Whereas the next one, it is a conspiracy, a very kind of Cold War analog, if you like, with the next episode. So it's taking that kind of angle to it. Whereas the main event is smack bang deep into we need to do something to win, and in order to do that is to make your own conspiracy. So it is a case of you're in the last few episodes, we're actually almost inheriting a conspiracy, or we're encountering a conspiracy. This one we're making one, so we're seeing it from the other side, and then we kind of get that appreciation from that end. So as I said, again, it's not really a surprise what the main event is. If you know your DS9, you know what we're talking about.
You know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, but we're 2 in now. We have another 2 to go.
Yes,
it's going to be very interesting. Very interesting.
It is. But like I said, before we get to that point, we are going to go slightly forward in time, chronologically. We're going to go to the original series with a season 3 episode. I know, I'm shocked as well. This is one of the few episodes we didn't ruin this time. That's not fair. But yes, either way, this is going to be the Enterprise incident where James Kirk apparently goes AWOL and brings the ship into the neutral zone. What could possibly go wrong? Who knows? The mystery to us all. But either way, guys, again, thank you very much for watching this episode of Best of All Worlds. Hopefully you've been enjoying this. And again, because we're getting to the second half of this arc, let us know in the comments, what would you like us to cover next? What should be our next little mini arc?
And remember, as always, ladies and gentlemen, comment, and please subscribe to the channel if you can, if you would be so kind.
Yes. Look at Gerry and his little puppy eyes. You can't deny them. Look at him. See? Isn't it cute? Come on. You can't say no to that. So
Or you
it's either
just
that
turned
or-
it off at that point. Let's be honest.
If you don't subscribe, Jeffrey Combs is going to knock over to your house and call you a pink skin. And do you really want that? Be honest, guys.
Yes.
Do you really want that?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, no, fair enough. Then don't,
Yeah.
don't. We'll do him as a cameo. It's fine.
Yeah.
So until then, guys, we'll see you on the next episode of Best of All Worlds. So until then, pink skins.